Yo, what's up everybody? How you doing? This is your Coach Rans, and today in this video we're going to talk about some bland advice that we often give to people who are in relationships, and how we must realize that even though the common phrase is that the devil is in the details, well, in all actuality, happiness is in the detail. Heaven is in the detail. Kingdom is in the detail. You having that whole full feel of elation is actually in the detail, but we've been tricked into using terms like the devil is in the detail, and I know that it has a positive connotation, but let's be real, in the back of your mind it really doesn't. So let's break this down. And before I get started, I want to give gratitude to everybody who supports this channel, to everybody who has given great ups to and congratulations to myself and Donna in our engagement and our wedding plans that was announced yesterday, and those who already decided they're going to join us for our wedding plans. I thank you for our wedding extravaganza in 2021, and they know they got to have everything taken care of by the end of March of this year, 2020. I appreciate you guys and everybody on Patreon and so on and so forth, and who supports the channel through Uncle Rans Popcorn. Thank you. That was a long introduction, but let's get started. So, as I said, myself and Donna just really started announcing our engagement since December 15th, and we've announced our wedding plans, and many people will, and some have already come and they give their one piece of advice. And that piece of advice generally comes into two forms. They'll say, keep God first in your marriage and everything will be wonderful, everything will be great. You know, you'll survive everything, you'll be able to accomplish everything. The other statement that many people like to make is things like, just got to keep talking, don't stop talking in your relationship. And they'll say these things as they pass by, and I know that their heart is in a good place, their intention is in a good place. The problem is, for me at 48, I'm good with that, and I understand the deeper meanings of it, but many people don't. And we have to be mindful of whom we're speaking to when we give this advice. When you're talking to people who may be younger, people who haven't had as much experience in relationship, and as I discuss in my book, How to Find Your Divine Soulmate, that'll be published very soon, you have to give information down to the details. Let me give you an example, and let's start with this one first. For those who say you got to communicate, you got to keep talking, okay, you're not giving information as to what type of communication. You have one mouth, two ears. How much listening is involved in communication? Are you telling them that it is not the responsibility of the person listening to understand, it is the responsibility of the person communicating to ensure that the person listening is understanding? For instance, I can talk on these videos all day long, but if I'm not giving you examples or expressing it in a way that you catch the meaning, that you gain the understanding, then all I've given you is a bunch of information, facts, stuff that you can take and construe it however you desire, however you choose. That's not constructive. That's not a benefit to you. That's not a benefit to the audience at large. So I have to give different examples in different ways and communicate it differently so that you can understand. Now, of course, there will be those who won't be able to understand what I'm saying or the point, no matter how I express it. So you can't please everybody. But when you're giving information, when you're telling somebody something that's vital to their lives, you have to get into the details of it all. Let's talk about that other one. Keep God first, and everything will be great. You keep God first. Now, for those who don't believe in a creator, okay, keep your spirituality first. Keep your humanity first. But let's talk about that a little bit deeper. If you tell a person, especially a lot of people who are in religions, keep God first, some people translate that, and I'm sure right now in your mind you're going to be able to see that person, those people that exemplify exactly what I'm about to say. Keep God first. God is in the church, the mosque, the temple, the synagogue. God's representative is the pastor, the priest, the imam, whomever is leading the church. Don't speak ill of the man of God, woman of God, who is your spiritual leader, church leader, temple leader. Don't speak ill of your rabbi, because they are the mouthpiece of God. So what happens is those people make the people in the church, make the pastor, the imam, the pope, the priest, make them the authority in their relationship, the authority in their house. Then when that person says something, that's what they follow, whether it's beneficial to the relationship or not. I've seen it where people have said, well, Pastor such and such said, as far as my house is concerned, Pastor said that these are things that defile the bed, even though we both agree and this is what keeps our intimacy. Pastor such and such said that we have to continue to, we got to make sure we sow a seed into the church and into the kingdom financially, and we can't pay our own bills. We can't keep the roof over our head. Our electricity is being turned off. But I'm going to do what Pastor said first, not what the teachings say. Not that you have to take care of your own house before you can take care of someone else's house. That you got to take care of the you and the me before you can take care of the somebody else. So the you and the me instead of the somebodies. Not that. Not that I got to make sure that, and I've seen this one, my wife is sick. My wife is ailing. But it's time to go to church. I got to go to church, and I'm going to leave my sick wife at home because I got to be at the church. Now, there's a pastor that I respect to no end when it comes to this sort of thing. He has stood in the pulpit, told his church 11 different times, if my wife is at home sick, if my wife needs me, I will get up and walk away right now, that I will not show up. I don't care what the proceedings are supposed to be going on, but if my wife needs me, I'm going to my wife. You see, those kind of details is what's missing. We got to talk about those details. When you say keep God first, depending upon what your religious connotations are, or whatever religion you follow, your spirituality, the thing is this. In all of them, it tells you that you got to have good finances. Well, what are good finances? It tells you don't rob Peter to pay Paul. It tells you to measure twice and cut once. You know, it tells you to do many business. You don't know which one's going to succeed. It tells you that there's an abundance all around you, but you have to go out and do the work to get it. But yet, you're looking for manna in the sky, but yet nobody told you how to balance a checkbook. Nobody showed you how to invest properly. Nobody showed you any of those things to be able to build your finances. Nobody showed you how to communicate with your husband and wife about your finances, how to join them together, and then how you're going to facilitate them. Nobody gave you Coach Renz's 70-10-10-10 plan in order for you to be able to manifest wealth in your life. You know, nobody showed you that. They just said, y'all gotta, keep God first. Or you gotta, make sure you pay your bills. Nobody told you how to budget, how to plan for the future when it comes to that. They expect you to just learn it as you go. Why? Do you know how many marriages end because people don't know how to do finances? How many marriages end because intimacy is not in their relationship? How many marriages end because they don't know how to communicate? Marriages that are come out of religion and marriages that are not, both are ending in divorce left and right at a clip of about 64%, because people aren't getting the details. We're not getting the heaven in the details, the kingdom in the details. And that's what, for all of us who gives that advice, don't just give that advice and walk on thinking you've planted that seed so you've done your part. No, doing your part is ensuring that you provided enough information that that couple can then build on something. Just saying keep God first, keep talking, is not enough information for that couple to build on. Hey, keep God first. Ensure that your finances are done in a way that you're not robbing Peter to pay Paul. Both of y'all got to sit down and communicate well with each other so that you come to an agreement of how you're going to conduct your finances in your relationship. And in conducting your finances, ensure that you set aside money for the more intimate things for y'all to enjoy. You continue to date each other and have fun with each other and continue to discover new things and grow with each other, so that as you grow together, you're able to build a kingdom around you. knowing that you can communicate and you can build, and when you have children, that y'all are on one accord of how those children are going to be raised. What's the disciplinary actions that you agree to take in the raising of your children? How do you want them to learn education wise, and have you planned for those financial not burdens, but those financial commitments to raise your children in an educational environment that you want them to be in? And do you want them to grow up in the city or in the country, in a house or an apartment? And these are the financial things that you have to understand in order to build your credit, to get those houses, to get that apartment, to live that lifestyle that you choose to live. How important is vacation? How important is work? How many hours a week do your spouse need to work? Do you want to work in the daytime or the evening? What's the time frame that you want to spend together? Communicating deeply in these levels, and how do you hold your anger? When you're angry, do you take a step back? And you should take a step back so that you can control your anger and not come back to each other filled with anger and make decisions and make statements about each other that are filled with anger. So you got to get into the details of these things, and don't leave people with this broad, vague statement of just keep communicating, handle your finances, and keep God first. One of the biggest ones, keep family out of your relationship. Well, how do we keep family out of our relationship? Do you need to move to the other side of town so that people have to call you before they just show up at your house? Or do you need to make sure that mom and them understand that you have left your mother and father's house to cleave to your spouse? Did you teach them? Are you doing that? Do they understand what cleaving means? That your spouse is your number one advisor, that your spouse is your most trusted, that your spouse is the one that you're pledging to live the rest of your life with, because your mother and your father, your uncle, your cousin, your auntie, your siblings, they will go on and live their own life, and yet your children will go on and live their own lives as well. So, but you pledged your life to with this one person, but you're still cleaving to your children. You're still cleaving to your mother and your father, and that's why your relationship is not going to work, because no man wants to be with a woman whose father is still the authority or mother is still the authority in their house, and no woman wants to be with a man who doesn't have the authority in his house and doesn't have that placement where he's not running to my mama said, or my daddy said, or my cousin said, but no, he's talked to you, baby. These are the ideas I have for us going forward into the future financially. These are our vacation plans that I have for us. What do you think? Let's talk about this. Let's figure this out. Let's meditate on these things. She's looking for that. He's looking for that. So give more than just keep family out your business. Explain how to keep the family out. The work is in the how. Give them the details. So I just want you guys to understand that. We're going to move forward with things like that. You're going to see more coming in my book, How to Find Your Divine Soulmate. I found mine, so you can find yours. And I'm telling you, our relationship is a beautiful, beautiful display of love. We come from different backgrounds. We have a different spiritual walk that we're taking, but our spiritual walk is still side by side, leading to the same point. So in that, we're demonstrating how true love actually works, how the love of the Creator actually works beyond the labels and constraints of man. But that's a whole nother video, and we'll talk about that one later. So y'all have a great day, and yeah, you see that, gentlemen? And you gotta remember, you gotta free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable.